Good morning, how are you? It's Kirsty back again talking about food. It's Thursday and it's a bit grey down here in Sussex today, just coming up to lunchtime. So I'm back on the orange water today. And what am I going to talk about? I'm talking about tinned food versus fresh food versus frozen food. Somebody asked me about it during the week. So with your tinned food, obviously it has quite a long shelf life because the food is sealed and preserved within the tin and it's pressure cooked to seal in the goodness. There is a small possibility, hi Emily, hope you're well, that you lose a small amount of nutrients from that product through the pressure cooking process. Definitely loses a little bit of vitamin C. Because that's water soluble, so that will be released through the cooking process. Things to watch: if you're having fruit in a tin, try and get it in its natural fruit juice rather than syrup, okay, because the syrup will put the sugar content up, which will put your calorie content up, and fruit juice is slightly better for you than the syrup. The same goes for any products that are in brine. So tuna often comes in brine and that will be slightly salty. So your salt intake will go up fractionally, and it's just something else to think about. But any vegetables or fruit that are in a tin are still, you can still count them as part of your 5 a day. Okay, it's just a different way of preserving them and extending the shelf life. Some acidic products like tomatoes will react with the tin that they are stored in, so that's why you'll often find that they're lined these days, just to stop that acidic process going on. Oily fish is a very good source of protein, so if you prefer not to eat meat, that's one good way to get your protein into your diet, and it's low in fat, so you get tick tick, yay! The other thing that comes in tins, which are good for protein for vegetarians, are pulses, lentils, chickpeas, those sorts of things. Low in fat, high in protein, because vegetarians, when they prefer not to eat meat, so they don't get the protein that meat provides in a meat eater's diet. What about frozen food? Frozen food, a lot of them, especially the vegetables, are picked and frozen and within the bag within 2.5 hours of being picked, so they lose very little nutrient due to that process. So you can have, for example, a bag of peas and it will be packed full of goodness for you. The only thing you will lose a little bit of nutrient is when you cook it, but that's going to happen with anything, and that's why they promote cooking, not cooking vegetables for months on end, because then all the nutrients are in the water. That's why the water changes colour when you're boiling foods. You know, if you boil cabbage or carrots, Brussels sprouts, you end up with a slight discolouring in the water, and that is some of the water soluble nutrients coming out of that vegetable and they're now in the water. If you want to drink the water, that's up to you, but you would get the remainder of the nutrients from it. So peas are another source of proteins for vegetarians. Really high in protein, low in fat. You also get frozen, but they are what they're called steam fresh vegetables, and they are vegetables that have been prepared, blanched probably in boiling water, and then sealed in the packet, so that you can just take the packet out of the freezer, whack it in the microwave if you've got one, and you'll get your steamed vegetables, because they do promote steaming over boiling. And that's a really good option if you've got family that don't like vegetables, but you do. You maybe don't have to cook for very many people, so you want smaller portions. And it's probably just an easier way of you to get your veggies into your diet, because you can go to the freezer, they're pretty much fresh, take out, put it in the microwave, bang, and your veggies are done. Don't refreeze the bag if you don't use all of them, because then you're getting into health, what's the word? Make yourself ill, possibly, that's the thing. Frozen vegetables, will last for about 8 months in the freezer. Frozen fruit for about 12 months, but you should use them within those times. And I think they have a place. They definitely have a place. Fresh food. One question for you about fresh food. Fresh fruit and vegetable especially we're really talking about. How long has that product been in transit? Where has it come from? So it was picked, it was processed as in maybe washed or packaged, then it might have travelled. Has it travelled within the UK? Has it travelled from abroad? Has it come by boat? Has it come by air? Is it a product that would naturally in the UK be out of season? So if we're in our winter time and it's fresh strawberries, have they been grown undercover in the UK? Have they come from abroad? So you have to really think about the transit time. How long have they been in transit? And then something I think we sometimes forget about is how long has it been in your fruit bowl or in your fridge or in your vegetable rack since you bought it? So if you've had it for a week, it's going to be a week less fresh than it was when you bought it. So it's lots of things to bear in mind. We're very lucky. We have a farm shop just down the road, and I pass it 2 or 3 times a week, and I can pop in and literally buy 1 potato and 1 lemon. I don't have to buy a big pack of them. So I have found since they opened last year that there wasn't a lot of waste, but you know when you forget about a potato and then it starts growing and you're like, don't think we should be eating that. So it's cut down on that, it's cut down on my waste, it's cut down on my budget because I'm not wasting that money. And if I am going to do a great big roast dinner, then yes, I'll go and buy lots of veg, and leftover veg will go into a bubble and squeak, or maybe into a casserole, or it might go in the freezer or whatever. You know, there's lots of ways you can use it up. But it's still fairly fresh. Okay, that's the thing to think about. Where's it come from? And there's a whole, over the last year or so, there's been a lot of traceability. Where have these products come from? Have they come from within the UK? Have they come from abroad? And I think over the next year, 18 months, possibly 2 years, we're going to see quite a few changes with this, with the dreaded Brexit. And I'm not getting political, but there will be things that change, and we should be producing more of our own food. So in summary, which is better, tinned, fresh or frozen? I use all of them. I have tinned tomatoes in the cupboard. I have tinned fruit in the cupboard. I have frozen vegetables in the freezer. And as I just said, I'll pick up fresh veg and fruit a couple of times a week when I go past the farm shop. So they all have a place. They all, you need to find what works for you. That's what I'm always saying, even if it's with your exercise. What fits in with your lifestyle? What do you like? What works for you? And your food should be the same. Whatever time you're eating it, for whatever reason, it's for you. And try not to compare yourself to someone else because they have different circumstances. So find what works, use a mixture of all of them, and you will still get your 5 a day, you'll still get your nutrients. And the research that I've looked at for this live, there's very little difference in the nutrients, because when you cook your fresh product, you're going to lose a little bit in the cooking process. Well, that's already happened in your tin product and in your frozen product. So there's not a big difference, but it comes down to choice and convenience and what works best for you. So I hope that's been useful. Short and sweet today. If there's anything that you want me to find out about and give you more information, send me a message. And what have I been researching for the next few days? Products that come from concentrate, that's quite interesting. And also about sugars. Okay, so there's lots of things coming up. And really exciting, if you saw my live a couple of weeks ago about controlling your bounce, and I was talking about sports bras, I've been testing a new one for you. So I will have the updated details about that to give you as well. So thanks for today, thanks for joining me. Hope you found it useful, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.